right, it's time for another episode of Live Out Loud. Scott and Gary right here, coming to you live from the studios at Treatment Alternatives, Boca Raton, Florida. And, our second show, we're ready to rock and roll with all of you. You can watch us right here on Facebook. We're going to be rebroadcasting all over the place.
We have been shared.
We have been shared.
We're shared now.
By who?
By thousands.
No,
actually, literally thousands.
Wait, weren't we just the two who shared it?
Well, I shared it with you.
And I shared it with you. We got 2 listeners. But they're us.
We're growing.
They're us.
We're growing. We're growing. We doubled our audience.
Yeah, I think there's actually a homeless guy standing outside the window looking in, too. So we're good to go. Again, Scott and Gary here, Live Out Loud podcast. It's about all things living out loud, enjoying life, life in recovery, whether your recovery is from alcoholism, drug addiction, eating disorders, gambling addiction, you name it.
Sex addiction.
Sex addiction. I'm too old for that, but,
We've had.
Don't say we've done it, because we haven't, and we're not going there.
We're both too old.
Right? No, food's my thing now. Food
addictions.
Food is exciting. I put a mirror over the kitchen table, watch myself eat.
Coffee addiction.
Coffee.
Pointing.
Yep.
I have a pointing addiction.
Anyway, all these things we can do. We can go out and have fun, and that's what this show is about. It's about going out and living your life and having a great time. Before we get too far into the show, I do want to tell you that if you or someone you love is having a problem with addictions or even mental health disorders and they need some help, call this number. Call Treatment Alternatives, 877-977-9219. That's 877-977-9219. Talk to the staff here at Treatment Alternatives, and I'm pretty sure there's something they could do to help you out, even if you just want to ask some questions. You just never know. But we're going to talk a lot about some other things. I want to introduce our producer, our director, and kind of like our gal Friday. It's the Smurf, and there she is over there. She's running the board and having a blast.
She has a camera now.
Deanna, you good over there?
I can't talk yet.
She can't talk yet. She's not set up.
Our
to talk
audience
yet.
has now grown to 3.
We've grown to 3, yeah. So whoever we have in the room, that's our target audience.
Hello.
There she is.
There she is.
I got it.
There she is. Well, she is the producer. If her mic doesn't work, she's just got to blame herself.
That's right.
I do
That's
every
the
day.
producer's job, to blame herself. Listen, by the way, if as Scott was saying earlier, if there is a problem in your house, don't hesitate. Okay, call Treatment Alternatives, and just ask questions. You can't hurt to just ask questions, but don't hesitate. Do it. Okay, don't hesitate at all.
Yeah, the worst thing you could do if somebody's having a problem, whether it's a mental health disorder, an addiction, or a compulsion of some kind, the worst thing you could do is ignore it or try to treat it right there at home. Most of the time, we're too close to the people we love to help them effectively. So call a professional, get some help. There's always ways. If they can't help you here at Treatment Alternatives, they'll help you find some place that can help you. But again, give them a call.
Nothing to think about. It's confidential. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's confidential, and it can't hurt to ask. Ignorance is only bliss to the ignorant, so get the information, all right? What we want to talk about is going out and having fun. Now, I'm a guy who spent most of my years in recovery doing everything from music to riding motorcycles to traveling and doing all sorts of different things. And, Gary, your whole life has been built around being music. With crowds and music and, and
being a ham.
Being a ham.
Being a ham,
eating ham, whatever it might be.
Theater, music.
Theater? Yeah, Shakespeare?
You got me. I got nothing.
Shakespeare.
I have...
Hark, the moon like a testicle hangs low in the sky. Right? I mean, is that...
X-rated Shakespeare.
Something
right
like that,
here.
right there. Okay, so what is probably the worst thing that somebody who's got an addiction problem or just maybe a mental health problem, what is the worst thing that can happen to them?
Well, I can imagine their breath.
Sometimes.
Okay. I'm just guessing here. The worst thing that can happen is if that you're home and you're thinking about calling and you don't. That's a pretty bad thing.
That's the worst thing could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Most people get in trouble when something called boredom creeps into their life. When people get bored, they start thinking about negative thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was once told by a great friend of mine, if you're bored, it's only because you're boring. You know, now I kind of follow that logic and I understand that and that makes sense. But, you know, a lot of people just don't have the strategy. So maybe they're not necessarily boring, but they have been boring. They've been acting in a boring way because they don't know the strategies. They don't know what they could be doing. You know, one of the things that when I was first in recovery and at different parts of my life when I had depression and some other things going on with me, the worst thing that happened was for me to sit and just be bored because then the wheels start turning. You get inside your head. You start thinking negative thoughts.
Yeah. Well, you start getting paranoid. You start reviewing your life.
Yeah. And it's usually not in a good way.
No.
You know, it's usually something that's fairly negative. So what we want to talk about is how do you avoid boredom? You know, you're never going to avoid downtime. You're never going to avoid moments of solitude or quiet, but it doesn't mean you're lonely or bored. It just means you got to find something else to do. I mean, Gary, you're busy 90% of the time. I mean, I talk to you on the weekends and you're heading out to do a gig or you're going here or you and your girl are going to do something together. You're always on the go.
Well, I'm always on the go, but I like to keep myself busy. Just so happens that I made a list of things that you can do when you're bored instead of using, or instead of thinking about using, or instead of wondering why you're not using.
Okay. All right, let's
and
go
I've
with
got
it.
it right here for you. Ready?
All right.
Well, you could play guitar. You could learn guitar. You
Now-
could watch somebody play guitar.
Learning guitar, it's so easy now. Back when I first learned how to play, you know, and I'm not like an accomplished guitar player. I'm just like a casual, like to have fun guitar player. But when I first learned how to play, I used to have to listen to music and then, like on my 8-track, and then pause it
You're
and write
letting them know secrets.
and write down the words, and then play a little more, and then write down the words. And then I would have to. There were certain guitar magazines where they would have the chords for the music, and I have to either buy that or go into like the bookstore and open it up to the song and write it out on my hand with it before I got caught.
And
you know,
those days are gone.
they're gone. Everything you
20th
need.
century stuff.
Right here, you can just Google it with your phone or you can your computers. There are a bazillion apps out there if you want to learn how to play guitar.
You want to learn to play guitar, YouTube. You just pick any song you want, go on YouTube. There's 4 or 5 different guys showing you how to do it. Most of the time it's the wrong way, but every once in a while you get the right way.
C, D, and G. If you can learn C, D, and G, we could teach you about 100 million songs.
75% of every song that's ever written. C, D, and G.
Half the Beatles songs and every one of AC/DC songs, we can figure it out for those 3 chords. Am I wrong?
Country songs, they're right there.
Country songs, usually just 1 chord. 1 chord and then mention of a beer bottle.
Well, anyway, on my list here,
All right, what else you got?
I have take a walk.
All right, that's a great thing.
Okay, I'm going to just go right through these because I could be here all day. All right, play guitar. Take a walk.
I want to comment on every one of them and slow the whole process down and make you nuts. Take a walk where? Why?
I've been nuts.
With who?
Walk.
Why?
Left, right, left, right.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Outside or inside?
Running in place.
Okay.
Okay, play guitar, take a walk, clean your ears, play guitar. Did I mention play guitar?
Clean your ears.
Yes, clean
By
your
the way,
ears.
I've been meaning to tell you, stop when you get resistance, okay?
Oh.
I think you've been going a little too deep lately.
Well, I start on this side and I finish
you
on
finish
this
on the other side.
Count the scratches on your bicycle. You can separate sheets of toilet paper. Rotate your light bulbs, okay? You can play guitar. Did I mention play guitar?
You mentioned play guitar.
Oh, okay. Play guitar. Read a book. Oh, there's a good one, huh? Read
Did you
a
get
book.
help with that one? Because it really doesn't fit in with the other ones you've been
That's
talking
okay. I
about.
read a book once. I remember it well. It was blue. You could write a letter. I mean, actually write a letter, okay? That's
All right.
known. It's done with a pencil or pen. It's not a keyboard. You can count your change. How exciting is that to find out how much money you have stored away? You can look for gray hairs, which is one of my favorite pastimes, or play guitar. Did I mention
I've
play
never
guitar?
had that much downtime.
Have I mentioned play guitar?
No, but you should learn to play the guitar.
Okay, play guitar. Play guitar, play keyboards, play drums,
All right.
play the table. Do something. Do something.
Say now, that trumps anything I got right now because that was a great list.
I made that list. It took me.
But you weren't bored when you made it.
No, I wasn't bored. Make a list.
Make a list.
Make a list. If you're bored, make a list.
Collecting belly button lint.
Oh, you should see
you do
the
it long
colors.
enough, you can make a sweater.
You should see the different colors he's got. It's great.
All right. I actually have a list of things that are a little more on the therapeutic side. Number 1, play guitar. No, I'm kidding.
Did you mention that already?
No.
I've heard that.
No. Well, one of the things you'll find out with boredom, boredom is something that we actually is our perception of our situation. If you're going to work every day or you're in a situation, you come home and you got the kids, you got the wife or the husband or whatever you have going on in your life. In Gary's case, he comes to work every day, then he's out maybe practicing at night, then out with his lady, and then going to gigs. And then every once in a while you just say, God, I wish I could just have an hour or two with nothing to do so I could just sit. You actually look forward to those moments. So boredom isn't about having nothing to do. Boredom is your perception about what you're doing at the moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's the art of doing nothing.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, there's times I get home and it's like maybe Teresa and Tara out there doing shopping or something like that, and then I got that little bit of time and maybe I'm going to prep dinner or do something, but it's just quiet and nice. And and I'll put something on the TV, or sometimes I'll just sit and maybe play a game on my phone or pick up my guitar.
Yeah.
Did you mention playing guitar?
Somebody did. Did you mention playing guitar,
Smurf, was that you? Did you mention playing guitar? Thank you. All right, she nodded.
She nodded.
All right. So one of the things you could do in those moments when you're feeling bored, you have that moment of solitude, it's a great time for quiet reflection and meditation. Now, you don't have to go full out singing bowls from Tibet and the whole meditation thing. And you don't have to go through all that. However, that was good.
Okay.
I think that was in the key of off.
Same note, I think.
That
Yeah,
was in the key of off.
That was a beautiful harmony.
It was beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Simon and Garfunkel, bite me. All right, so you can meditate, but quiet reflection is also a good time to sit and kind of evaluate, things that you would like to do. Take a few moments and do a little self-reflection on, what's going on with you and what you would like to get done. Sometimes we just don't sit and think about what we're feeling on the inside and what we'd like to accomplish. Sometimes we're so busy just going, we never stop and think, what do I really want? What do I want to do? Having those moments, I mean, it's a great way, instead of sitting being bored and having that perception there's nothing to do, take a little trip inward.
It's also good to think about what you need to do, what you're procrastinating on.
Exactly. Enjoy it. Don't fight it. If you're fighting those moments of boredom, they last longer. If you think about it. Because basically it's like when you're feeling, do you ever get it so you feel sick and you walk around saying, oh, I feel lousy. You're making it worse.
You're convincing yourself. Yeah.
So if you're sitting there and you're fighting boredom, saying, I don't want to be bored. This sucks. I'm bored. I don't want to be bored. You're stamping it into you that I'm bored and that's it.
Reconfirming.
Don't fight it. Instead of boredom, just say, all right, so I got nothing to do for a moment. Just let it go. Relax. Stop trying to fight everything. Now, this one, number 3, is find your life's direction. It's exactly what you said. Think about, am I doing the things I want to do? What do I want to get done?
What can I do to enhance my life?
Exactly. One of the things that people could do, learn to play guitar.
I've heard that.
You've heard that somewhere.
I've heard that somewhere.
All right. Anybody who doesn't know, Gary does play guitar.
If you don't know that, Scott plays guitar too. As a matter of fact, we jam one time on this show. We just might do that.
I think that's a great idea.
And then we'll get calls.
We'll do that song that you like from Kansas.
A Song for America, baby.
That's right. I looked it up. It kind of sucks. All right, so
I've gotten requests. We'll start playing guitar. We'll get a request, from somebody viewing us, but we'll play anyway.
All right, let's get Smurf's opinion. You listened to that song for America. Did you like it?
I didn't hear words for the first 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is a little...
About 2 minutes.
Yeah.
About 2 minutes.
You should be off-putting.
Yeah.
Personally.
Of course, our first show, we had 6 minutes of dead air, so, I mean, come on.
But that was suspense.
Yeah, Kansas called. They want to see if they can record that.
It's an it's an 8-minute song. They wouldn't even fit.
All right.
Song for America. Listen to it.
If you're bored, surround yourself with energizing people. Think about it. The people you hang out with, Gary, you hang out with exciting people, don't you?
I hang out with musicians. They're funny. They're funny. Tammy's quite funny too.
Did you just avoid the question? What was that?
Well,
Energizing people. Well, I hang out with musicians.
They're energized on stage. When they're off stage, they become themselves.
All right. Fair
Which isn't
enough.
very energized, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, all of the energy goes out on stage.
Yeah.
But you are very energetic.
I have to be.
You are very energetic.
I have to be. It's because
Well, you get them going in the morning.
I drink
Get all the
17 cups
clients
of
going
coffee
in
a
the
day.
morning. And look at the size of that cup.
The big cup, Beatles cup. All right.
Beatles.
All right. So surround yourself with energizing people, people who are energetic, people who like to do things. Even if it's not quite in your comfort zone, these people tend to bring things out of you that you don't even know. You know, let you try things you wouldn't have tried. Look for something brand new. When you have moments when you feel like you're getting bored or you got nothing to do, find something brand new. Step outside of your comfort zone. Do something different.
Step outside of your comfort zone.
You know,
do something you always wanted to do.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever just sat and draw pictures? Maybe I'm not an artist. I don't draw. Well, if you're alone and you're just kind of relaxed, try it. You might find something amazing. Most people who are artistic didn't know they were always artistic. They find it somewhere in their life.
Well, you're looking at me and I can't even draw a stick figure. So
That's, I saw it. It had like 3 arms. I just didn't get it. It was not good.
yes, and that was the body.
All right. So do something new. Socialize more. There are always things to socialize with. Everywhere you go, there's events, there's festivals, there's people in your neighborhood. I mean, people don't even talk to their neighbors anymore. Do you?
Well, most of my neighbors are usually out of town because I play music very loud.
They're not
Most of
actually
my
out of
neighbors
town.
are
They
out of
just
town,
pretend they're
and-
out of town so you won't bother them.
Exactly.
They just all ran.
I live in Century Village, you know what I mean?
Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like, folks.
They're all in Canada or
You have to be at least a century old to live there. That's exactly what we're talking about. But socialize, get to know people, call up an old friend, somebody that you haven't connected with in a while. If you're in recovery, don't call those friends.
right.
No, don't call those old friends.
So
But
another
just-
thing you do during boredom, if you're in recovery, is you can go through your phone and erase contacts.
Yeah. And then call the people that you know you should be calling, like sponsors and people in the fellowships and people who are supportive of your recovery. People are supportive. But socialization is really important. One of the things I love is like sitting around and playing board games with friends and
Right.
cards and doing things like that.
Or just coffee.
Just
Just going
coffee.
out and having coffee. And you know something? If you are in a situation where you're alone at the time and everybody's working or you just can't get a hold of somebody, it doesn't matter if you go out alone. You can go out alone. You can go to a movie alone. You can go to a festival and meet people. You can go to a meeting if you're in recovery.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes just go look around. I'm one of those weird people. I love watching people. I'm a people. Are you a people watcher?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I love watching people. When I have to go on flights, I like getting to the airport. You know, they say 2 hours early. I like 2.5 hours. I want to get through and I want to have a good hour and a half to 2 hours near my gate where I could get a cup of coffee and then sit and watch people. You want to watch the worst of humanity hang out in any major airport in the United States. That is, I mean, I saw somebody pull their luggage and they had it flipped upside down. So the wheels were up top and the luggage was dragging on the ground. And I'm thinking, like, just flip it. Just flip it. You'll have wheels. They're dragging it. So they stop and they figure out something's wrong. They flip it completely so that it went past the wheels, back onto the luggage, and then they started dragging it again. I've seen this with my own 2 eyes, folks. You can't be bored when you're watching people like that.
Yeah.
Go to the beach and watch people.
The stress, the relaxation, people are excited to go somewhere, the people who are bummed coming home.
Yeah, exactly. People, malls, good place to watch people too.
Yeah.
Really good place to watch people. This is the only place. Now, we're in South Florida. If you're watching somewhere else, then maybe they don't have that there. This is the only place I've seen where people will go to a mall down here, go to one store to buy a suitcase so that they can go to other stores and buy things and carry it around in this suitcase. You see it over at the Sawgrass Mills, which is a huge mall. It's kind of like Mall of America kind of big, and it's people come from all different countries and stuff, and they come to this mall, and they get these big wheelie suitcases, and they go from store to store, and they keep stuff. So you see people walking through the mall with suitcases, and they buy them there. So there's like all these suitcase stores, and I'm like, who buys suitcases? The shoppers do.
You never know when you're going to need a suitcase.
That's right. That's right. I mean, they got to go home. Every time they go shopping, they're going to come home with a new suitcase. It's crazy.
There you go. When you're bored, buy a suitcase.
It's crazy. It looks like the back room at JetBlue. All these suitcases stacked up everywhere in their house.
Oh, I'm getting flashbacks.
Flashback.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Used to work with JetBlue, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Hello, JetBlue
You were a pilot?
friends. Huh?
You were a pilot for JetBlue?
Oh, the funniest thing said so far here today.
No, really. What were you doing at JetBlue?
I was a ramp monkey. I threw bags.
You were a what monkey?
A ramp monkey.
Ramp monkey.
Yeah. I say ramp monkey because
There's a rap monkey.
you
And
work
I'm
on
like,
the
what,
ramp.
You get there to sing
you-
while the plane
you
came
throw
in?
bags and you're energetic and you're moving and it's fun.
Did you
Monkeys are
ever?
fun.
Did you ever get to hold the flashlights?
Oh yeah.
So
Oh, I brought those planes in. I'd let those planes out. Yeah, the wands. That's what they're called. They're called wands.
the wands. So they just flew from Los Angeles, 37,000 feet in the air, through thunderstorms and wind and rain and turbulence,
Right.
all the way to Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
They came in, they landed that plane
Yes, they did.
with 248 lives on that plane.
Yes.
The plane weighs tons.
Uh-huh.
They landed that softly.
There's a
They
point
pull
here.
around, and then they need you. They need you with 2 flashlights to guide them the last 7.5 feet to a parking space. Well, thank you, Vasco da Gama, for your help. That is amazing. Why do they need you?
Would you like me to explain that?
I really don't, because the picture in my head is probably so much better than a real explanation.
Well, you
Please
start
do.
on the runway, you take off, and from the runway to the time that you are parked, you don't hit the brakes. I got to tell them when to hit the brakes.
Well, why?
Because, Sam, I am.
There's got to. You did this job. You have to know why they can't park it themselves.
Because they know how to go, they just don't know how to stop. I'm the one that shows them how to stop.
So, pilot school, I imagine, takes a little bit of time.
Well, yeah, but
And there's not like a lesson maybe on day 3 about how to stop a plane.
Well, there's a lot to learn when you're a pilot. Sometimes they leave some things out.
So
And-
you need somebody.
You should see pilot schools. It's a picture of me going.
You need somebody in a pair of blue coveralls with miniature lightsabers,
And orange vest.
orange vest, and earplugs because it's too loud. And you need them to say, "Stop."
Yeah. You
Okay.
do.
All right. They can't just tell. You know what they ought to do is put like bumpers on the side of the building. When you hit it, boom, you stop.
Oh, it's springs. Giant springs.
No, you use a tennis ball.
Yeah, when those tennis balls like they do in the garages. You hang it down when it hits the
and when
windshield.
It's the windshield.
On the nose of the plane.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Ding. Okay, stop. We're good.
You can't be bored with this. You
That
can't.
is crazy.
Yeah, well, you know, it's job security.
It's just,
Job security. When the pilot can't
Oh.
stop the plane, I know I have a job.
well, you know, folks, I gotta say, I do know that this is all real and stuff because every morning when Gary comes into work, I have to go out in the parking lot with 2 flashlights and help him park his Prius because he doesn't know when to
My
stop.
Prius parks alone.
Okay, another thing you could do when you're bored: eliminate your procrastination. That's a big word. Procrastination.
I said that earlier,
You did.
but I said it smoother.
You did. You smet. You smet it much better.
Exactly.
You said it much better. Procrastinate. All those things you procrastinate about, all those things you've been putting off, get them done. Take a few moments. You know, I swear, every time people sit around and they say, I've got nothing to do, I guarantee there's a list of about 20 things that you've been meaning to get done, or you should have got done, that you could get up and do it and just cross them off your list. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Let's say you have an idea, something wonderful that you think can grow and expand, but you haven't attacked it. You haven't gone into the preparation to make something happen that you've been trying to make happen for a long time, which could better your life. Tony Robbins used to talk about the pain and pleasure, the pain of actually doing something and the pleasure of just sitting around.
Okay.
But instead of having the pain of not having that activity processed, and then having the pleasure of having it done. There's two different kinds of pains and pleasure. Are you following me here?
No, I got you. I just remembering this girl I knew that was into pain and pleasure, and she used to walk on the ground I worshipped. It was really a nice relationship. But anyway, go ahead.
I lost it. That was great. The ground, worship the ground you worshipped. That's good.
Listen, but we got a few more things. I just want to remind everybody that you're listening to Live Out Loud podcast here with Scott and Gary. And, of course, we've got the Smurf there behind the control board taking care of business. We are broadcasting live from Boca Raton, Florida, right here at Treatment Alternatives Premier Treatment Center, right here in beautiful South Florida. If you or someone you love has a problem with addiction or mental health disorders, you want to call this number today, 877-977-9219. That's 877-977-9219. Ask questions. The questions that you don't ask are the things that are going to hurt you the most.
If you're bored, call.
If you're bored, there you go. If you're bored, call. Get some information. You don't have to know anything for sure. Sometimes you just don't know. Give us a call. Let us help you out. So, right here at Treatment Alternatives. All right. We've talked about pretty much all of these. One of the things that I really wanted to talk about was number 15 here. Challenge yourself. And that's something that many of us don't do. Yeah. Now, all these things we talked about, Gary, and as a matter of fact, did we mention learning guitar?
No, she did.
She did.
Smurf did.
All right, let's bring. All right.
She's a very good guitar player.
Challenge yourself with something. One of the things I've always wanted to learn. I haven't done it yet. I started to, but I couldn't afford the kit, so I was using bricks. But I wanted to learn to juggle. But I was using bricks, and
that's physical fitness juggling.
I wasn't bored because the whole time I was in the hospital, they kept me very occupied. But
muscular juggling.
I've always wanted to learn to juggle. Do you know how to juggle?
Yes, I do. I can juggle three things.
All right, I'm going to talk to Smurf for a minute here.
As a matter of fact, I used to juggle those wands.
I don't think so.
We went to go see him at a show once, and I'm like, he could play everything. He pulls out a harmonica, starts playing harmonica.
Horn instruments. Horn instruments are a big problem with me.
They're a big problem.
Horns.
See that?
I'm not a horny
big
guy.
Problem with them. We're gonna. But challenge yourself. Learn something new. But what is something? Let's just assume, Gary, you're home. You're bored. There's something you always wanted to learn. What might it be?
Wow, something I always wanted to learn. I always wanted to learn Spanish. I always wanted to learn French. I always wanted to learn a different language.
See, that's a great thing. Again, with the smartphones and computers and all that stuff, that's all at your fingertips.
Babbel. There's a
just a random word. Babbel.
Babbel. There is
French,
an app called Babbel.
There is.
Yeah, there's an app called Babbel.
I thought it was French for apple.
Language. No, it's Apple.
Oui, babu. I don't know.
Wasn't there in the Bible a Babel?
A tower.
Yeah.
A tower of Babel.
That was Babylonia.
Oh, maybe it was baloney.
Babylonia. That was a song from
Isn't
Steve
that
Martin.
Baloney?
It was baloney.
It wasn't baloney.
I've had a Babaloni sandwich once.
It was totally baloney.
No, because my baloney had a first name.
Oh.
O-S-C-A-R.
O-S-C-A-R.
There we go. Where were we?
We're talking about 8 tracks and
What is it you want to learn? A language.
A language. You can learn a language when you're not doing it. Learn your computer. I mean, there are people that have a computer and they don't know how to operate it.
That's true.
That's called
actually.
baptism by fire. You go into your computer and you just learn things as you go.
How about your smartphone?
Your smartphone.
You know, there's phones now where there's like you just look at it and it turns on.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're watching a video and you turn your face away, it'll stop the video because it knows you're not watching anymore. That's creepy to me.
I hate that.
That is scary. That
I
is
hate
like
that.
I'm sleeping at night and my phone is turning on and saying, what's he doing? Let me put this out on YouTube.
Do you know that the average person uses about 3% of their phone's uses?
Really?
Yeah, about 3%. Your phones can do amazing things. Nobody knows what they do.
Yeah, because mine does Candy Crush. That's not even new anymore, is it?
No.
No. Like
As a matter of fact, people are going, yeah, right.
like you know.
Like I know. But
Yeah.
there are people going, oh, Candy Crush. I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. It was
I
right
think
after.
that was a mid 2007 thing.
Yeah,
No,
but 2007 to
like
me was
2010.
that was a
10-ish.
sneeze for me. That was nothing.
Yeah, I think 2008 the iPhone came out.
I'm
I
old
say
now.
2010s.
I'm old now. I grew up in the 70s.
I didn't.
Yeah, not the 1870s. Bite me. The 19. I grew up in the. So did you. We grew up
Yep.
at the same time. You know, we.
That's why we jam the same songs.
I wore bell bottoms when bell bottoms were brand new.
I was in Hair. I was in the show Hair.
Were you really?
That's how old. Not the Broadway show, but when it was relatively new.
Yeah.
About 10 years. I like a 10-year anniversary of it. Oh,
He didn't even have
I'm
to
old.
grow hair.
It was a little
He
while
already
ago.
had it.
I had it.
He didn't have to wear a wig or anything.
It was a while ago. Nebuchadnezzar was his co-star. I'm sorry. A little too Arcana reference for a Friday afternoon.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, there we go.
No.
All right. So listen, the whole point of what we were talking about today, and we do digress all the time, that's part of the show. If you can't stand frenetic thinking and if just insanity drives you crazy, did you get how I did that? Insanity drives you crazy? You don't want to watch this. But if
Yeah,
you're
I was
enjoying us.
I was checking out the buttons over there. We haven't used any of those buttons.
Oh my.
Now we have.
Now we have.
If there's, I love that one. If you have any suggestions, certainly you probably catching this on Facebook. You can go to our Facebook page, which is LOL Podcast. So it's our Facebook page is LOL Podcast on Facebook. Or how do you do that? Facebook / how do you say it, Smurf? Anytime.
Sorry, I had to turn my mic on. I'm still wiggling around in this.
Okay.
So you can go facebook.com/LOL podcast. Or if you go into the search, you can try just LOL podcast, all one word, or live out loud. You'll see our logo. You actually see it up on screen right now. It is here. I'm going to point at it. I'm going to attempt pointing at it. It is here. You'll see this logo.
You can
Right
actually
there.
do that. Where are we on the right
yeah,
side?
you're actually pointing
right
at it.
Are we
yes,
doing
yes,
it?
I'm
yes.
pointing at
You're
it right
doing
now?
it. Well, Gary, you need to point where Uncle Scott's
Over here.
pointing.
Point
Oh,
over to
over
me.
there?
No,
Oh.
or me. There we go.
For me,
That's-
now it's,
I didn't know
All
what
right.
camera
we're
we were
going
on.
to get them screens, but for
right.
now,
By the way, if you're just catching the audio, what we just did visually was really funny. So go ahead and laugh.
Oh, by the way, we're getting text messages.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
getting
we're
messages.
Yeah, we're getting
a lot
messages
of,
from Ron. Ron said he thought I could be a pilot. Tammy texted. Sharon Lynch, she says, great thoughts. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon.
And Jeff Shanley is watching, and Alyssa says she's loving this. And Deborah says, hi, Scott. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Scott.
Was that the voice?
in that voice.
In that voice. Hi. So you can text us because we're paying attention. We are paying
We
attention.
are paying attention. This will be rebroadcast several times, so if you are catching a rebroadcast, you can still leave your comments. We'll look into them and we'll answer them. We're going to be coming to you every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We'll be coming to you from different directions and different places. But again, like our homepage, join our homepage. Get involved. It's just some topics you want to talk about. Remember, folks, it's all about living out loud. It's about living past things like addiction, past things like alcoholism, past things like eating disorders and gambling addictions and sex addiction. It's about living past mental health disorders and actually embracing a life that is fun to live. You know, nobody gets sober to be bored, and nobody gets sober, and nobody changes their life to end up in a worse place. We all want to make changes to end up somewhere else, Gary, to end up somewhere exciting. But understand, the excitement, you have to bring it, right?
Yeah, and you find if you're not sober now, you find that your life can be so much more interesting, and you find so many more things in life that can stimulate you. Then just get sober. You'll find that there's a whole interesting world.
There really is. There really is. There's so much to do out there, folks. Grab the brass ring. Go for it. Just have a blast. Life is too short to sit around thinking I should have done that or tried that. You know, there's one thing that I want to do. Gary, have you ever skydived before?
No, but that's something that you want to do.
No, there is an indoor skydiving that I think you and I should do, and we will podcast it. Are you in?
Yeah, I'm in. I think it would be interesting for these people to see me scared out of.
Rarely do
my
people
clothes.
go all the way down into the fans. Rarely, but if it happens, we will have it on tape,
If
and I
it
guarantee
happens-
it won't be boring.
It will happen to me.
We will try that. We're going to be going out and about all over South Florida. If you got a suggestion of a place you'd like to see us, or a place you'd like us to go, something you'd like us to experience, or something you want Gary to eat.
Yes.
Notice how I said that.
Yes.
Because we will,
welcome,
yeah, right?
We welcome suggestions, but remember, they
Rocky-
are suggestions.
Rocky Mountain oysters. That's really hard. I have a delay. Rocky Mountain oysters.
Rocky Mountain oysters.
Yes. Do you know what those are, buddy?
Yeah, it's snot pretending to be an oyster.
Oh no, sir.
No.
Oh
Let's just say we'll try them. Then we'll tell you. You will try them, and we'll tell you what they are afterwards.
Oh my goodness,
Only-
a dare!
only you.
I'm so intimidated. Dares, they intimidate me so.
All right, folks. Don't be boring. Don't be bored. Get out there and live life. Find something. Embrace your destiny. Go do something. Learn something new. Hey, you know what else? I don't think we mentioned. You know what they should do?
Play guitar.
Learn to play guitar.
Play guitar.
That's a
That's
great
right.
suggestion.
I think that's great. If you are limited in your ability to think, if you are limited in your ability to move and do certain things, just remember, you could always learn bass. All right, so with that, I'm so sorry. You know bass players, don't you?
Or because
They used to be his friends. All right, you've been listening to Live Out Loud Podcast. I'm Scott.
I'm Gary.
And we look forward to seeing you next time. For Smurf and everyone else here at Treatment Alternative Studio, we wish you the best.
Live out loud.